Out again with Amber and Vaughn diving up at Porto. First order of business was to set up a time-lapse camera so I didn't have to swim around with two cameras all day. You can see the bottom stirred up a bit here. I expect there was a sea lion down on the bottom there checking me out. I aimed the camera at the same sea anemone that I'd aimed it at a week earlier, which had produced kind of an interesting video. Unfortunately, in this case, that sea anemone didn't do much, just sat there. So with one free hand now, time to head out to do the rest of the diving. Amber had brought this line diving set up with, so we took that out and anchored it next to the Nakaya. Here you can see Amber getting ready to make a dive. And he drops down the line, using it to help him get through the first few meters of buoyancy. And there goes Vaughn to meet him on his ascent, make sure he's coming back up safe and sound. And there's Amber. And there comes Vaughn. All back on the surface. And now it's my turn to make a descent. I didn't use the line, not that I have anything problem with using line like that, but this is a place where I practice making swimming dives down to this depth. And here's the Nakaya. This was better than the week before, but still not great. Unfortunately, this time of the year, these sort of dives are just bounce dives. It's just too cold to hold one's breath for too long. And this is my view on returning to the surface. So we all got to make a few dives down on the Nakaya, but it's a bit cold diving to those depths, and after a while we headed out to something a bit shallower, in this case the Grant Hall. And coming to greet me in the Grant Hall, this little lingcod. He seemed rather aggressive. I think he's sitting on some eggs. You can see his posterior dorsal fin there is a bit chewed up. And here he is again. You can tell it's the same one because of the chewed up dorsal fin. He's got a few other injuries there. But he was quite anxious for me to not be there. I'm not sure if he's reacting to me or his reflection in the camera lens here. You can see he's sort of making a few lunges. Yeah, he was almost tame. Anyways, didn't want to hassle him too much. So we're also on top of the Grant Hall. We made a few more dives, and I found another lingcod sitting there. This guy wasn't particularly aggressive, but he wasn't adverse to having a selfie taken. I actually sat there with him for quite a while. And since he seemed so calm, I thought maybe I could line up a shot with that lingcod and Vaughn. And here comes Vaughn. Oh, so it worked out pretty well. I guess he didn't like the light in his eyes. And that was it. I came back to recover my time-lapse camera. Yeah, that sort of salmon-colored sea anemone is the same one I did the week before, when it was sort of pulsing. But this week it just sat there doing nothing. So I'm not going to show you the time lapse. Not much happens. You can see this little school of straight perch here, which are basically the only perch left out of Porto, at least in the winter. In the summer there's lots of other species of perch, but for some reason they're the only ones that seem to hang around, at least here in the shallows in the winter. And a little starfish doing what starfish do, eating some mussels. These guys must have broke off the marker chain and fallen down there. And that was it. I think we probably spent an hour and 40 minutes or so in the really rather chilly water. And it looked like the tide had installed a bit of an obstacle course here to exit. Don't want to bonk my head. It's the only thing that keeps me from banging my shoulders into the bottom.